Dania. Sorry.
Just no, this is all just great. What was coming up for me, I mean, you know that I love talking about emotions in this, like how it,
Mm, mm,
because that's sort of where, I think
mm.
Oliver, you said you feel a lot. I'm also on
Yeah,
that spectrum.
yeah.
Um, and I know there's been a lot of, emotions come from thoughts. And is there not also just like an experiencing, like just pure feeling, or just, I guess we call it pure sensation, just like, because you said too, like when the lights came on, it was like if everything was like full on. It was like
Mm,
you would feel, but it
mm,
wasn't like related to thoughts necessarily. It was just like
mm. It was like,
pure,
holy shit, wow.
yeah.
Nothing to do with
Right,
the, nothing to do with the thought.
right.
Oh my
So this,
God.
right,
Kind of, I literally
right,
mean that when I say that. Oh
right,
my God.
right. So there's like a different quality in the feeling, it seems like, because,
Yeah,
um,
it's, see, I don't know if you can catch it, but there's a
yeah.
different quality between me burning you with a cigarette in the center of your back if you don't know I'm
Hmm.
coming, right? There's that sensation.
Mm,
And then there's the
right,
thought about what just occurred.
right,
Two very,
right.
very exceedingly different experiences.
Yeah. No, it
And that,
totally registers. It
yeah,
totally
yeah,
registers because there
yeah.
was this experience the other day where I was driving home and I was talking to my partner on the phone. I don't even remember what we were talking about, but it became a heated argument. And then,
Oh,
he
good.
was upset. Yeah. And then he was upset and he hung up the phone. And then all of a sudden there was a thought like, oh, how dare he hang up the phone on me, blah, blah, blah. And, and there was just this like anger, like this heat in the, I mean, we're calling it anger, but like sensation, just like heat in the chest, like this, like kind of bursting feeling sensation. And then all of a sudden, just like all on its own, it was like there was seeing this story that just kind of came out of like it just developed. And then all of a sudden the anger just disappeared. Like it was like
Yeah.
it almost
It's not
like it
real.
was, yeah, it just,
You saw good. You saw the story wasn't true.
right.
That's all that
And
happened.
then,
You saw that.
yeah,
And everything releases as a result of that.
it
Now,
did. It was like
imagine,
it,
good. Now
yeah,
imagine seeing the story about the me isn't true and the
right.
release that can happen.
Right, totally. Because it was this me story that was like, how dare he do this to me? And it was like, it was just about to go. It was like this plane about to take off, and then something happened and it stalled and it just
Yeah.
disappeared. And then attention just went to like beingness all of a sudden. And it was like nothing I'd experienced before. It was just like there was no effort in it. And it was so markedly different than how I usually experience anger because I that's like a predominant, I can get really stuck there.
Yeah, yeah. What you'll
And
find,
then, yeah,
let me just add something right there. Yep.
please, yeah,
Yeah. Look, what you'll find, Dania, is please don't expect not to feel anger. And I don't think you
right,
expect that,
totally,
okay?
yeah,
But it changes.
right,
You will still experience anger. Sorry to
right.
burst your
Oh
bubble, but
no,
okay,
I
good.
need that
Okay.
reminder.
So you'll still experience anger, yeah, but it
Yeah,
seems really, really short lived.
right,
Whereas once you might have been pissed for a couple of days or
yeah,
3 days, or sometimes people can get pissed for years. Right?
totally,
So instead of that occurring, it might have, something might
yeah,
arise that go, ah, yeah, and then
yeah,
boom, and then it's gone and it's
yeah,
finished and it's completely now gone.
right,
There's not even a residue of it. It's just
right,
now brand new and fresh again. Here I am. And no,
right,
and here's the important thing: no judgment about having just got angry. None.
right, right, yeah,
That's where we fall down with anger.
yeah,
Anger's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
And then we do that, yeah. And we walk off or storm off or whatever. And then we sit there and go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Done. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't know better. And then we start beating ourselves
Right.
up, having got angry. No,
Right.
the anger's fine. Just
Right.
allow the anger to be anger, and then it's finished.
It's so helpful to hear that, because usually that is the process that happens here. There's like anger, there's an explosion, and reaction, and there's guilt. But like this time it was like it was like a wave that just like landed on the beach, and then it kind of went into wherever, and then I came home, and then I apologized to my spouse, but it wasn't like
Perfect.
this, like it was just
Yeah,
this honest like, oh,
yeah.
but it wasn't
I had a moment. Sorry.
yeah, but that brand new and fresh was really there, because it was like,
Yeah,
because then it was like confused. Well, wow, where did it go?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and then it was like, oh, this is what Terry says, like the brand new and fresh, like this is so different, and
yeah. It is like it is because ordinarily what we do, especially if we're in react mode,
yeah,
whatever that is, right? If we're in react mode, yeah, it's not that the reaction, there's anything wrong with the reaction, because you're not doing the reacting anyway. It's just you're being lived. That's just
right,
what is happening. And now that, whatever it is, that acting, whatever that is only a problem after it, not during it, after
right,
it. Now, the after
mhm,
it, it's gone.
right,
If it's after, it's now no longer. But then
right,
what after? Then we start creating another story, which we're calling after, right? We
right,
start creating another story about the reaction and how dare they and them and then
total.
I'm sick of people talking to me like that. My dad used to talk to me like that. A
That's
big
right.
story gets created, right? It's huge, huge
Yep,
story,
yep,
and the reality is whatever that reaction was, it's long gone,
right,
now finished.
yeah,
Like, like
yeah,
anger is just no different than the sound of clapping hands.
right,
As soon as the clapping hands finish, it's over.
yeah,
Obviously, it's the anger stopped, like the clapping
yeah,
hands have stopped.
right. Well, it's like an animal, like when they, it's like it's just this charge, tension, discharge. It's just like
Yeah,
a wave of energy, and then it moves. Whereas with
yeah,
humans, there's this thought thing that happens. It like kind of keeps it going in this
yeah.
thought-induced emotion. Yeah.
Guilt,
So that's
shame.
helpful, because it was like it seems like emotions are not always driven by thought, that if
Mm,
it's just a wave of energy,
mm.
but the thought doesn't get involved, then it cresses. But if the thought gets involved, then it is that
Look, there's one emotion that gets experienced that doesn't depend on thought. Only one emotion that does
love?
not that does not depend on thought.
Yes,
Exactly.
love.
Yes. Yeah.
At the
Now.
beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Now. At the beginning. See what you? Yeah. So, love that is understood dualistically is not that love that I'm referring to. Love that is understood dualistically, normally, that love, if we think we're a person, normally involves another person. Oh, I've fallen in love with somebody. I have fallen in love with somebody. Yeah, that's not the love I'm talking about. Yeah, like we believe that the person that we have fallen in love with is responsible for me experiencing love.
Mm,
I'm experiencing love because I love you, would be the
mhm.
story. Yeah. No, you're experiencing love because you can love. It's got nothing to do with the other person. Zero, absolute zero to do with the other person. Yeah, but you know, you see a lot of relationships and codependent relationships, and you know, there's a belief that I'm only going to experience love if somebody loves me. That's the only way I can experience love, is if somebody loves me. If I'm not loved, I'm not worthy of love. Would be the story.
Mm-hmm.
When we were talking about emotion, Dania, you know, and thoughts and versus emotions, or thoughts versus feelings, you know, there's that same question used to come up all the time when I was sitting with Bob in Bob's groups, you know. And it took me a while to see what Bob was saying. It did take me a while, but eventually I saw it, you know, and that was that it's because the question was always asked, what arises first, the emotion or the thought? And Bob, in the immediacy of now, as quick as a flash, would always say, thought. It's always thought that arises first. Yeah. Then the even the thought tells the story about what the emotion is, whether it's a good one, a bad one, yeah. Whereas in actual fact, it's just a sensation. Literally, it's only a sensation. And it only becomes, that sensation only becomes problematic when mind steps in and makes up, say, a negative story about that sensation. Now it's a problem.
Right.
Yeah. And what is it that now believes it's a problem? No one. It's just another thought that arises and said, oh, this is a problem. There's not even somebody there believing any of this shit. It's just a big story that constantly keeps being created by mind or by thoughts. That's all that's going on.
So when the lights go on, or what, you know, however that saying goes, there's still emotion.
Yep.
But is there emotion? And this might just because, like, you know, I'm a therapist, right? So like there's a part of me that really wants to get this. And from a sense of like, you know, because emotions still happen, like you said, anger is still going to happen. But is anger only going to happen when there's a thought?
Here's the difference. Which, you know, I didn't know about.
Okay.
I didn't know about this difference that I'm about to. Yeah. But here's the difference. If we're going to use the terminology when the lights turned on, yeah, I'd rather say, hey, when duality was seen through.
Okay.
When the me was seen through. I'd rather use that. It's
okay. More honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The difference was that now, when I feel a feeling, it's about now. Whereas in the past, I could be having all sorts of dreadful feelings that has zero to do with what's happening in my life right now. Zero. Nothing to do. There'll just be old memories of things that had occurred in my life that I'm reliving, which is what most human beings do. That's where they live.
Because my training is that like emotions are different than thoughts, right? They're like different. There's emotions and there's thoughts and then there's behaviors and that kind of thing. And so if it's about the now,
and
is
it's
there a
kind,
thought?
but it's kind of right too that there is a difference. It's kind of right. So I don't want to, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater there. But
I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but what's more important is, see, regardless as to whether the thoughts are different from the emotions are different from the thoughts, what's blatantly clear and obvious is that whatever's going on, the emotion or the thoughts or the whatever, it's going to be the mind that's saying, the thoughts that's saying what's going on.
Right.
Always. Now, what of thoughts? Sorry, what of emotions now? If the predominant part is the thoughts, if there's thoughts and feelings, and the predominant part is the thoughts, what are we going to say about the feelings now?
They're connected to the thoughts.
Well, the thoughts are creating the feeling.
And so if the thoughts are less believed in, and there's the seeing, or however the, you know, like sort of seeing the illusion of the me and like in an integrated way, then the feelings and the thoughts, everything's just about now.
Yeah,
So there's an immediacy
we've got to be
about,
careful. Yeah, we've got to be careful with this one, don't you? Because,
yeah.
you know, remember a moment ago, I said the only emotion that's not dependent on thought is love. Okay. Love in and of itself, by itself, is non-dual.
Right.
It's non-dual, which means it's 100% unconditional. There's no right, wrong, left, right, this, that, here, there, good, bad, just is. Now, we're going to have an idea of what we think love is.
Right.
And what I'm saying is whatever our idea of what we think love is, ain't love.
Right.
It's not it.
So why is
Now,
anger not like, I'm just curious, why is anger, like any of these like sort of primary emotions that animals feel, why are those not non-dual?
they are non-dual.
Okay.
What makes them dual is the story about them after it.
Got it. Right.
They are non-dual.
Got it.
It's just life going, rah.
Right. Okay.
They are non-dual.
Right.
It's only the story after it. Oh, I should have.
Right.
Oh, what have I done? Oh, what has me done? Oh, to
Right.
that person. See, the
Right.
starts to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
creepy.
The story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that
Because you
happened was,
see animals, like they get upset, like you take their bone, you know, or like one dog has a toy that the other one likes and
yeah.
they start getting upset and, you know, but
So
there's no sense of a me. I don't know if it's fair to say there's no sense of a me there.
yeah, but see,
You know,
the point that I'm trying to make is without thoughts, what kind of life would you have?
hmm,
Zero thoughts.
you would,
You can't even, it's even
yeah,
hard to imagine what zero thoughts would be. In
yeah,
the absence, in the complete absence of all thoughts for the rest of your life, let's say. Not a single thought ever arose again, ever again. Can you even imagine what kind of life that would be like? You can't even imagine that. Yeah? But I can tell you, it'd be nothing like what you used to. Right? Because with thoughts, a world gets created, feelings get created, relationships get created,
yeah,
the universe gets created, all this stuff gets created. Yeah. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with thoughts. There's nothing wrong with duality. Without duality, we'd be fucked. I'm sorry to say that. There'd be without this seeming duality, there'd be nothing. Zero. So duality is not the problem,
right,
but it's understanding how duality works that's essential to understand. Not
right,
how non-duality works. You can't. It's not possible. But duality you can. Yeah. And what it creates and how it creates a seeming person or a seeming location or seeming other person and everything else that gets created. So there's nothing wrong with thoughts. There's nothing wrong with a feeling. Yeah. There's not. But the difference, the primary difference is that you know, whatever it is that's going on for you in the present moment is just what's going on for you now in the present moment. And that's all. And that's all. There will still be,
right.
even when we use the terminology, when the lights turn on, yeah, there'll still be a memory of Dania. You'll still remember what school you went to, you know, first boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. Like your memory won't disappear. You will still have a memory, yeah, but you'll understand it to be only that, a memory, yeah. And this that's here now isn't dependent upon that, but you will still be able to recall it. Being able to recall is a useful function. That's part of this instrument, being able to recall, yeah. So it's all right, yeah. You know, it's you know, I know it.
Well, it's helpful just to talk this through with you, because if I take emotion to be always created by thoughts, then there's this kind of, you know, oh, if I'm feeling an emotion, then that's there's something wrong there because there's a thought, and versus like it can, you know, it depends, you know, we can have emotions from stories, or or emotions can arise from what's happening here. And then it's just this full-on experience, and then it passes or whatever, or it doesn't. Yeah.
Good. And that would be the livingness.
Right.
That'd be the beingness.
Right.
And the
Right.
freedom.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
I know. I was like, when it happened, I was like, oh, this is what Terry is talking about, brand new and fresh. And I just got this image. I'm like, this must be how Terry argues with his spouse, right? Like anger comes up and then it just disappears, you know, and like just kind of wondering how real life happens for you, you know, just like how do I know, you know?
And that's a good question, you know, like a lot of the time, Dania, a lot of the time, what I experience here is silence. And if I'm with somebody that doesn't experience that, it drives them fucking crazy. Because they keep wanting to know what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? What's going on for you? And for me to say, nothing, can be really, really, really difficult for people to accept. Really difficult. Yeah. So a lot of time there isn't anything happening. So whereas once I would never have experienced that. I would have always been experiencing the me constantly being recreated in the moment all the time. Constantly.
Right.
Constantly being recreated in the moment all the time, bar none. Always. Right down to, yeah, there's a sense of me and I feel like I'm here. Yeah. Whereas that doesn't happen, you know. It's
It seems like there's almost nothing to stick to, you know, like when there isn't that.
Yeah, it is kind of like being like Teflon, but not completely impervious to having something stick. Something might stick for a moment, can still stick for a moment. Yeah. And then I go, oh, oh. And it's, as soon as there's the recognition of it, just like it falls off. Oh, yeah. You know, it's, you know, I've said this a couple of times, like if I was a Buddhist monk living somewhere off up in the Himalayas somewhere, and that was my life, you know, no relationships, you know, no family, no relationships, just me on my own, And the life that I would lead living in an environment like that, there'd be hardly anything that would arise that would rock me, purely because of the life that I would be leading in a place like that.
Right. You were telling Raj this
Yeah.
once, I remember. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reality is, hey, I'm in the world like you are. So shit
Right.
happens. Sorry. Shit happens.
Glad you're with us, Terry.
Yeah, man. I'm there. It's I'm there. Shit can still happen,
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is a change.
Right.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
It doesn't stick around. It doesn't stay. Things move really quickly. They just move through it and gone, and then it's new again. Okay. Here we are. Okay.
next. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Next. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's more clear now. Thank you. That was super,
Yeah,
super
good.
clear.